Hey, it's Sunday, so this is the weekly update on the French intensive organic raised bed garden. There's been a lot of improvement in the onions since I started watering daily, except when it rains, but it hasn't been raining this week. The tips were really starting to burn. We've had a couple days in the 70s, which is kind of rare for here, and in April, and then it's less rare in May, but it's more towards the end of the month of May. Anyway, the loose leaf lettuce is really going. I have been eating salad every day, just me. The kids only eat salad about once a week. So, but when my husband comes home in a few days, then we probably will actually be able to keep up with all the lettuce that's coming. The extra I've been giving to the birds as a little treat. The peas are almost up to the top of the trellis. Last week I were about halfway up, so they've grown about 5 inches. Peas that I planted from seed are 4 to 5, and the biggest one is about 6 inches tall back here. The kale is roaring towards adulthood, and these will be just about ready to be harvested for green onions. I'm in the second week of hardening off a lot of the seedlings that I grew. Got 2 types of lettuce, 2 types of kale, 2 types of chard, and then over here my herbs are going along. My parsley got a little dried out, so I have to watch the watering on those. Since they're not automatically done, I need to make sure that I actually get out here with a watering can every day. Okay, let's see how the Asian stir-fried greens have just shot up this week. Last week they were about the height of this lettuce and way more flimsy. These are my tomatoes. This is their second day out in the sun. I'm trying to only let them out for a couple of hours, because the first day when they were out for 4 hours, they got this little bit of sunburn. Some more of my chard. So these lettuces, I've been able to harvest some of the outer leaves already. The sorrel, which was almost completely red last week, has returned to green after a week in the garden bed instead of in a container. The violas are blooming beautifully. Last week I planted carrots in these 2 areas. There are maybe 3 or 4 that have started to sprout, but carrots take up to 14 days, so that could be a while. I moved the leeks over here out of the planting pots, or window boxes, and they're starting to come back. They had gotten a little scorched too, being in the window boxes, but they are doing much better now. And my calendula starts are there on the end. Okay, the strawberries are coming along. I've got what looks like it could possibly be the start of a blossom, but I'm not sure. I'll pick it off if it is. There's a blossom over on that one, so I want these guys to get a little bit bigger before I let them start producing any fruit. May is very early, or this end of May is very early for strawberries here, but the weather has been ridiculously beautiful. I planted Black Beauty, bush zucchini here, and yellow crookneck early summer squash Those were seeds that I got from Lady B003, the package I got from her. And I planted those about 4 days ago, and so none of them have come up yet, but it could take a while. Like I said, the days have been about 70 and the nights have been about 55. So it might be a little bit longer before we have those. And there's a blossom on that strawberry too. The violas like being in here. Violas, no, they're not instruments. The violas love being in here. Aren't these bluebells just gorgeous? Okay, over here we have the brassica bed and other strawberry bed, and you can see just how much they've grown in the last week. The kohlrabi that is in here is starting to bulk up at the base, which is what it does, and even on the green ones too, which tend to be a little bit behind the others. Now these have been in for a couple of months, and we have been picking off all the blossoms. They are ever bearing though, so they will go all summer, and they have gotten big enough that we've decided to let them go ahead and fruit. And if it doesn't produce very good fruit, then we will pick the blossoms off and let them get a little bit bigger, and then let it fruit again. Now this is cauliflower and broccoli, and it's been in the garden maybe 5 weeks, and it is just enormous. We have not had a bad winter. Unlike most of the country, we had a gorgeous, gorgeous winter, and we had a lot of rain, but no, not a lot of frost. Maybe 6 weeks total, and they weren't all together. That were just really nasty cold, but no snow. So anyway, this is chard that I took out of the window box, and it's a little damaged from the sun, but there's new leaves coming up and they're doing much better. And then these other chard are ones that are starts that I did, and starts that I got from a no spray sustainable place, and they were last week probably an inch high and very, very tiny in width, and now they've just really gotten huge. This kohlrabi here, it has grown about 4 inches in the last week, and it's expanded about 6 inches in width. And the red cabbage has done the same, and the green kohlrabi has not quite gotten as big, but it is still grew about 3 inches maybe. And the broccoli really, really blew up. Celery's grown maybe about 1.5 inches to 2 inches. So it's not taking off hugely, but it's still really good enough that I'm not upset at all. And the other 2 beds, they have managed to get mostly filled up with spent bedding manure from last year, the chicken, duck, and turkey manure, and then from this year, rabbits. And when we start putting soil on this, it'll compact it down, and we'll do that this weekend. It'll compact it down, so we'll end up having about 1 foot of soil on top of all of this, like we do in the other beds, and then we can start planting, because the manure that's in here is aged enough that it won't harm anything, and the rabbit manure on top, rabbit's cold manure, so it won't harm anything either. So that is how the raised bed gardens are doing.